Hey, what's up YouTube? It is Melanie back with Melanie Loves Death Metal, and I've got a small collection update today. Only 4 albums I want to show off, and the reason behind that is because these are 4 phenomenal albums that are probably going to be a lot of people's year-end favorites, and easily are going to be mine. So I wanted to get on camera and talk about them today. So this probably be a little bit of a shorter video for that reason, but there is a vinyl here, finally. And I will always show that last, like always in all my other things, but I feel like we'll go ahead and get started. And the first thing that I have just needs absolutely no introduction. The new Pharmacist album is out. It's shipping, so if you want this on CD, Severed Records has it in the US, and there is a Euro link to that I'll link in the description. So this is called Flourishing, Extremities on Unspoiled Mental Grounds. It's a Pharmacist album. It's very typical album name there. So admittedly, I slept on this for a couple of days when it was released. I got the Bandcamp announcement that it was out. I saw it on YouTube. I saw it on Instagram. People were losing their shit over it, and I was like, well, I need to be in a Pharmacist mindset right now, and I want to actually listen to it beginning to end and not just hear parts of it. So when I finally was able to do that several days ago, and I sat down and listened to it one night, and I was not expecting this. I did not expect this album to be as good as it was, and I don't know why. I thought maybe it was going to be more of the same of what has been put out already. He pumps out a lot of music. There's a lot of EPs, a lot of splits that have come out. The last record that he released was phenomenal. One of my favorites to be released. I still listen to it all the time. And I figured maybe it might be more in the same vein of that. And definitely, yes, it is a Pharmacist album. It is a gore grind Pharmacist album, but there is an element to it that is incredible and something I did not realize I needed on a Pharmacist album, and that is the addition of the guitar solos from Andrew Lee, who is from Ripped to Shreds. I'm sure you've heard of Ripped to Shreds. They're a phenomenal band. He also writes a lot of other stuff for people. He did Ben Brain Smasher's intro to his YouTube video. He's got other side projects out there that I'm not too familiar with. I think is there a grindcore anime project that he has? I think that might be accurate. I'm gonna have to check that out. And yeah, he added a layer to this Pharmacist album that made it just crushing and so fun and so good. The solos on here are so good. The song structures on here are so good. There's so much more technicality into these songs. They're long. There's some couple songs are 7 minutes long on here. It is a very well produced, well thought out, well written record. It is a very good album. And in regards to Pharmacist and where this stands in all of the music that they've released so far, or that he's released so far, incredible. The best so far, in my honest opinion. And this album is so good. There's so many things about it that I love. I love a lot of the carcassy sounds that come out of this, like a lot of the vocals come out and remind me a lot of old school Carcass. Just, it's there, and especially some of the riffage on here, yeah, it's definitely there. So it's a great album. I really hope, if you're in the mood for some new gore grind, for some new Pharmacist, you definitely check this out. If you're new to Pharmacist, I feel like starting out here, you'll probably really like it, and then when you go back to older stuff, you'll notice the progression. But the older stuff is obviously phenomenal. I'm such a Pharmacist fan. Like, he writes amazing music in terms of the gore grind genre. I just, the best in my opinion, and this just makes it so much better. So it's really good. I would say just the first song, you're sucked in right away. Corpus Sonica is another one. Necromorph is a great song. Like, there's just so many good things. I would say that the title track is probably one of my favorite songs on here. The very last song is it's another long one with just so many riffages in there. Again, it's a really good album. I hope you check it out. I hope you think so too. As always, I will link everything in the description where you can purchase it. I know it's on Bandcamp. I know it's at Severed Records. I know there's a Euro link. I don't know if there's a CD coming, or this is a CD, duh. If there's a tape coming or a vinyl. I don't know. I'm sure there is, but I didn't want to wait, so I got the CD. Popped it on in the car as soon as I opened my P.O. box and saw this. Listened to it, sat in the car and listened to it before I walked inside. So I was in my car for probably about 30 minutes before I was like, well, all right, I should probably go inside now. And that's how much I love it. It's going on today when I pack some orders for my distro. And this is going to be a repeat offender in my CD player, probably for years. Just to be honest with you, for years, because it's a really good album. I love that album. So the next album I want to talk about was immediately a blind buy. I hadn't heard anything from it, and I bought it strictly off the hype of my friends in my metal chat that I'm in on Instagram. They were all hyping this up and talking about how great of a record it was, and they all got the vinyls and they're showing it off to each other, and they're talking about it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I don't know what this is. And I added it to a CD order that I did with Relapse, because it's out on Relapse Records, and I listened to it this week and was like, oh, yep. That's real good, and it's very dark and it's very depressing sounding, and that is exactly the kind of music I want to listen to right now. So this is the new Absent in Body called Plague God. Pretty of a super group here, member of Neurosis, Igor Cavalera's new project. Immediately didn't know he had a new project coming out. So this is very good sludgy death doom. Sludgy death doom, dark, dissonant, depressive sounding. It is exactly what this album cover entails, that what you get into, and I was pleasantly surprised. I had no idea what to expect with this. It is a very good record. It takes you on a journey, that's for sure. It takes you on a very dark journey. It's got some very gory images on the inside. Not gory, but creepy. That's a better word. Creepy images on the booklet. Not much to show you there. Very good record. In fact, probably going to be a lot of people's favorite records again this year. I mean, this should easily be on there too, and I hope more people who listen to this, but I think this one, given that it's on Relapse, it's a bigger label, probably a little bit more people have seen it. It's a really good album. I was surprised. Those sludgy, doomy elements are not always for everybody, so I can see why you may not like it, but it's a very dissonant sounding record, which I really like dissonance. I really like that about a lot of the death metal that I listen to. It is definitely a mood album, I would say. I would say next week if I'm in the mood for thrash, I'm not going to put this on. And if it does come on, like shuffle or something, I probably maybe like, oh, not today, Absent in Body, not today. But for the mood that I'm in right now, it hit me. As soon as I heard it, I thought it was phenomenal. So it'd be interesting to know if anybody else has listened to it. Again, the group chat that I'm in, they hype the shit out of it. And I immediately am thinking about, well, Relapse still has a lot of vinyl available because they pressed 1,000 different variants on a lot of pressings. So I may pick it up on vinyl now, knowing how much I enjoy this. Because it probably would sound fantastic on vinyl. I mean, the CD obviously sounds fantastic, but something about the vinyl aspect of it that I always enjoy just a little bit more. No rhyme or reason, no real reason other than just that it's a big fucking vinyl. And anyway, it's a really good album. You should definitely check it out. I think for the people that are really into that dark dissonance, and if it's not too sludgy, and there's some sludge in there, I think you'll enjoy this. There's definitely a lot of doomy elements to it that make it what I enjoy. Speaking of doom, death doom, I should say. The next record is another one that took me by surprise. Admittedly, I slept on it. I talked about it being released on my release show that I do, or videos that I do. I actually need to make another one of those. I was going to do it today and just didn't feel like it. Wanted to talk about these albums instead. And I kind of didn't go into it. Just kind of was like, I'll listen to this when I listen to it. And then a couple of people started showing it off and sending it to me and being like, hey, you heard this, right? Like, you know this. It's like, yeah. I know it's out. I listened to it very briefly. I really liked it. Just have to give it a second chance. And then so finally I sat down, I listened to it, and was like, this album is fantastic. and kicking myself that I waited so long. And I don't know. I guess I'm not too familiar with this band. I haven't immediately listened to a lot of their older stuff, so I wasn't expecting what I was listening to. But this is a new Father Befouled, Crown in Veneficum, or however the hell you pronounce that. On Everlasting Spew, I don't know if there's a vinyl and stuff. I got mine through Night Shift Merch because I wasn't going to pay the awful shipping for one CD from Everlasting Spew. But when Night Shift finally said they had it in stock, I bought it and waited till I got it to talk about it on here. You want to talk about a journey? This album takes you on a goddamn journey. It is so good. There's just, again, long songs of just riffage. Like sometimes it goes several minutes before a vocal is even heard because they just slay the hell out and they just death metal the hell out. It's the best way I can describe it. And I just was really not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. I don't know what I was expecting. Again, I admittedly am not 100% fully well versed on Father Befouled. I know they're a US band. There's somebody in there that's in another band, and I'm totally blanking on it now. So now, of course, I'm going to pull up my browser and look it up so you guys can know what I'm talking about. Father Befouled Metal Archives. Come on. The Know-All Metal Archives members. Infestment. That was the band I was thinking of. So, Justin Stubbs. Jesus Christ. It's a Justin Stubbs band. Justin Stubbs is fucking incredible. Everything he touches is good. So, I don't know how I've slept on Father Befouled for so long. I don't know. Because, again, investment and coffinization, Justin Stubbs, everything he touches turns out gold. Occult was another band that he's in, and they released a phenomenal record last year. I don't know, but Father Befouled has been out for a while. They have several full lengths out, and this is really the first one that I've ever paid attention to, admittedly. So that's a big flop on my part. There's a person in this band that I know he does great things. Of course, it's Justin, like, fucking idiot. Anyway, it's a great album, and you should definitely check it out. I don't sleep on it. Do not sleep on it. I'm going to shove it in everybody's face several times this year. It's going to be in another video, guaranteed. It'll be in another video by the end of the year, and I'll probably show it again on Instagram several times. So just get used to seeing it. And I want to say thank you to the 10 people that have sent this to me on Instagram saying, have you heard this yet? Why are you not talking about it? It's here. I have it. I'm talking about it. Posted it the other day. It's phenomenal. This is going on right after Pharmacist, followed up by this, and then probably this next album I'm about to show. This might be a bit of a trigger warning. We'll see. If you're Chris Barnes and you're watching this video, you might want to just stop playing it now because you're about to get pissed off. Chris Barnes doesn't watch my videos, trust me. The new Undeath came out today, guys. I literally just got it today too. They shipped it, Prosthetics shipped it a while ago, and it took forever to get to me. It went on a journey of Florida that made absolutely no sense. So thank you, Post Office. Thank you for doing that. I was very concerned when I got the box today because it was beat to shit, but the vinyl was totally fine. So this has probably quite possibly the most cringe album title. I'm sure you've heard it already. It's time to rise from the grave. Still in the shrink, sorry. I cut open the shrink, but I need to get the poly bag and the hype sticker off, which I do try to save the hype stickers. There's 1,000 pressing variants of this. I've got the Lava River vinyl. I got it because I thought it went well with the album cover, but there's other ones out there. I'm pretty sure they're still available. Undeath. Let's talk about this. First, I'll show you the vinyl while we'll talk about it. Alright, so Undeath has seen great success since Lesions of a Different Kind came out a couple of years ago, their first full-length band out of New York, and Chris Barnes hates their singer for no fucking reason, but yeah, see, that looks awesome. I like those butterfly splatters that these pressing plants have been doing for labels. I think they look phenomenal. A lot of my death variants look like this, so I think it looks awesome. Comes in a really shitty dust cover that I'm going to swap out for a better one. I just ordered a bunch of them based off of the suggestion of a few people, because these dust covers drive me crazy and they create a lot of static that's annoying. But anyway, Undeath has seen quite a bit of success. There's definitely a very large following. They have a very dedicated fan base. And there's, for whatever reason, whenever that happens to a band, 200 stab wounds, people shit on them and just have nothing but shitty things to say without really diving into the music and listening to what they're putting out. Their last album was very good and I really enjoyed it. It was definitely one of my favorite releases to come out that year. It was fun, it was groovy, it had the underground sound. They have a couple of demos and EPs that are out previously to that. One of them was it on Maggot Stomp? Yes, it was. So maybe that's why people have prejudgments about Maggot Stomp as well. But this album is miles better than Lesions. And I think the reason for that is there's definitely a bit of a maturity in regards to their songwriting. And also in regards of who they want to be as a death metal band. The first album had a lot of grooviness to it. It was very fun. It had these interesting like guitar sound to it that I really enjoyed. That really raspy, like whisper vocal style that his name is Grant, right? Anyway, that's a lot of that's still in this album, but I would say in terms of production quality, songwriting, guitar writing, it's definitely a lot more matured, and it sounds really great, and it's brutal onslaught. It doesn't ever slow down. The only negative aspect that I would say about it is, after listening to it 3 times already this week, the first song really, I don't know, it's not awful, but the vocal style on that song, for whatever reason, kind of like agitates me a little bit. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's just the way of the tempo and the pace of how the vocals go with the guitar. I don't know. It might grow on me, but it's not my favorite. The rest of the album is very good. I would say that the second half of the album is by far the best part of it. But it is a very good album. It's not a perfect album by any means. I mean, it's a death metal album. It is a modern death metal album. It is Undeath. It is very much Undeath. Like, their personalities are still in this album. I think they're a phenomenal band. I think in terms of carrying death metal into the future, Undeath is a great band to do that. Some people, especially the old school guys, the gatekeepers in the community, don't agree with that. Chris Barnes. But who the fuck cares what Chris Barnes thinks, really? But anyway, that was a big to-do a couple months ago. He tweeted and went on a rampage about how the Undeath singer and Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder and I don't remember who else were shitty vocalists. Like, come on, dude. Do you really think that your vocals are any better right now? But anyway, it was a big ordeal. I feel like that brought out a little bit of the old school homeboys that came out and were like, oh, Undeath, a bunch of whatever, that's just, stadium metal or whatever. That's a thing similar to the approach that people have with Gatecreeper. This is not Gatecreeper. This is a little bit more of that old school sounding death metal vibe. I mean, Gatecreeper has that as well, but in a different way. So it's a fun album. Definitely think it's worth the high praise that I've been seeing it get. Not just from fans. There's been reviewers and stuff like that. I think that that's worthy of it. And again, I don't ever care about what the fucking reviewers write about albums, but I'm always curious to see, especially when I really like an album, to see what other people have to say about it. And I'll just say, I think it's worthy of a listen. I think it's definitely worthy of that title of being one of the best albums to come out this year already, in regards to death metal. And of course, I understand the people that might not like this, or they might think they're totally overrated. I don't think they're overrated. I think people have hyped them, and the fan base hyped them to the point of where people got tired of hearing about them, and that's the problem that some bands face. But just ignore that and take it for what it is. Just listen to it without without that behind it, and I think you'll enjoy it and you'll think it's a good death metal record. And I think it's good. I think it's a good album. I think it's their best one that they put out so far. Well, it's their second one, but in terms of what they've put out from the past up until now, as Maggot Stomp tweeted this morning, did we all wake up and think Undeath today? I'm thanking them. Thank you for putting out a good death metal record, and thank you for continuing to be a good band that I enjoyed a couple years ago, and I'm happy to still be your fan. So that is all that I had today. Curious to know what you guys think about these albums, if you've listened to them. Yeah, I generally don't go into this much detail when I'm showing off collection updates, but I figured these 4 albums have just wowed me, and will be on a repeated playlist. But next week I have a couple of other different types of videos. I'm going to bring back the artist spotlight. I'm just got to edit it and do all that stuff. And then I definitely going to do another album ranking, but probably one that people have asked me to do several times, so I'll record it. I just got to get it up there. So that's it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for all the support this week. The Q&A video got a lot of positive feedback, so I'm going to record a second part to it because there's about 15 questions I didn't get through that are from Instagram, so I'll do that. And then maybe I'll bring it back in a month or two. So thanks, guys. Have a great weekend, and I'm hoping I'll see you on Monday. I'm probably going to post a video on Monday. Black Metal Monday is definitely going to come back because I have a lot of stuff I need to talk about. I don't know if you probably noticed the Panopticons right there. Definitely want to talk about that. So, all right, guys. See ya.